It's Chris Wakelin who leads 5-3. First to 9 will play Ding Junhui or Zhu Se in Sunday's final. Big night for him. If he wins, he'll be a top 16 player, guaranteed whatever happens in the final, with a chance to win the title, get in the Champion of Champions. All the spin-offs financially will come. So, Neil, a big night for both.
Yeah, very much so. And, you know, unless you get a very one-sided first session, and we've seen a few of those recently in two-session matches, a couple of 7-1 leads where the game is over, invariably it's rarely won in the first session. Though I think that the way that Wakelin won the last frame from a long way behind with a really good clearance, having put Xiao in a snooker when he was a long way in front, you know, that would be, you know, quite a psychological blow that he took that frame in that way. Yes, he's not going to win him anything, but when push comes to shove, a couple of frames lead in a very even match could be worth something. And it is an even match, and as Dave said, you know, there's an argument that Wakelin would have been favourite in the other matches they've played, or haven't been of this level, although there was a World Championship final qualifier between them, which Wakelin won over 2 sessions. But in general, the confidence, I guess, they're both showing means a lot. Obviously, Xiao, with a trophy to his name, had every right to start this match as a small favourite.
Yeah, the head-to-head was 3-0 to Wakelin, but of course, Xiao Guodong a different player now, having won a title. He was a bit anxious there because the red went close to left corner, but it's covered by other reds. That red was available, and he has knocked it in.
Yes, but no way you can do anything but lay a snooker here. And there's been pretty profitable in this match already, the snookers that Wakelin has laid.
Chris Wakelin won.
Because if you can cut off many escape routes, then of course it can bring about a chance.
Yeah, I mean, the issue for Xiao here, the reds obviously are in spread far and wide, and it's not like sort of the bunch is all together, you just got to roll into the side of it. So just giving this a bit of thought. He doesn't want the match to get away from him, Xiao Guodong, obviously, in these early frames. If he went sort of 7-3 down, then suddenly it's a big struggle to stay in it. Wants to keep pressure on Wakelin. He'll be aware, because he was in this position yesterday, he'll be aware that the top 16 carrot is dangling in the background. Jack Jones is the interested spectator from afar, because he's the man who would miss out on the top 16 seeding if Wakelin were to win the match.
Well, that's what he played. Obviously, he's going to hit it. He's going to hit it, try and pot it. Don't think he played to hit it from behind. Whether he'd be willing to try and roll the pink to the middle pocket from here, I'm not sure. I think it will go. But it looks a horrible shot.
Pink ball.
He is playing it. Goodness, this is a very attacking shot from there. Maybe there's fewer options elsewhere. It's never going to be an easy shot, and he's missed it by a long way.
Xiao Guodong won.
Well, Chris Wakelin, of course, survived that drama yesterday with John Higgins coming off at 5 each and coming back many hours later. I thought he played a very good decider to complete another win over a world champion, having knocked out Murphy and Williams already.
1.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument that he might have had a smaller chance of winning had they played right through, because Higgins was looking the stronger player when they were taken off at 5-all. Maybe that's one of the reasons that Higgins was not overjoyed about being taken off with the frame left. I think maybe you just reset when it comes to a single frame being played later in the day.
Yeah, well, when it comes to a shootout, Chris Wakelin has previous, doesn't he? Won that title. That was really the start of the great run he's been on. It's clear he's very satisfied in his personal life as well. He and his girlfriend have just bought their first house, and all is well off the table, and that's really transferred to on the table as well. And what I like about Chris as well, he speaks about snooker with a lot of gratitude, you know, that he has these opportunities to earn a good living doing what he enjoys. He was keen, wasn't it, one of the tournaments, to point out what he felt were good playing conditions, when obviously a lot of the time we hear about when they're not so good. So positivity is his thing.
Yeah, that's refreshing, isn't it, to hear that, because you know, there are a few gripes around from players,
13.
and a lot of the time, and that's not a new thing, it's not a dig at the sort of the current batch of players. It's always been like that. Sometimes I think it's only afterwards, when your career is not so successful or is over, you realise that maybe you should have enjoyed the whole experience more. Travelling can be something of a burden after a while, but the rewards are great. You see the world. There are worse things to do for a living, aren't there?
Yeah, I mean, when he was young, he was a delivery driver for a supermarket, and you know, that's not, you're not sort of earning the sort of money you can do at the top of professional snooker, obviously, doing that. Anyway, he's just looking to bed himself into this session, because as I say, there's been quite a gap between the two, so it sort of feels like the start of a new match in some ways.
I must say, I can see the Mark Selby influence in his game, and they do and have practiced together a lot over the years, and Wakelin no doubt has learnt a lot from Selby in how to play matches. Just occasionally he loses sight of things. Mentioned that yesterday. It kind of happened against Higgins, but he regrouped, which he's very capable of doing. He's one of the most improved players on the tour. You could name a handful of vastly improved players. Also on that list would be his opponent.
27.
And again, it's a very good break, this. We've seen both of these construct decent breaks when the black's never really been a factor. It's quite difficult to do. There was once a school of thought that you couldn't really win frames if the black was not available. Couldn't win them in a single visit, but I think that's been dispelled a lot in recent years with the improvement in scoring from all parts of the table. Now, significantly, that red directly above the black is available to the left corner.
39.
We'll open up the red to the right, and serious chance that this frame could be won at this visit now. But he has overscrewed quite a lot. So all of a sudden, it's not quite as simple from here. Rest shot, played with force to get from colour to red.
42.
Well, I think he underhit. I'm sure he didn't mean to finish there. Now, what has he got available to him? I think the two reds may be close to being a plant. Yeah, they are. 3-ball plant. Well, that's worked out well, hasn't it? I'm sure from yellow he didn't mean to finish quite there, but now that he did, it's all come good.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the stars are already slightly aligning for Chris Wakelin.
$49.
Of course, if he won the tournament, he would be in Bolton next week with the Champion of Champions. He'd be in all the Players' Series events. He might even be able to get in the Saudi invitation event at Christmas. So, you know, there's a lot riding on the next couple of days for him. But the satisfaction of winning the tournament would be first and foremost. Everything else can look after itself.
$50.
Yes, whoever wins this event, who's not already in the Champion of Champions. That really only applies to Xiao Guodong, by the way, who is already in there, would play Judd Trump. And of course, we'll worry about that later. Maybe a chance to beat Judd for the first time ever. On the back of winning this week, maybe that would be his best chance of doing so. Anyway, for now, this break, one step at a time. But a 6-3 lead would give him a... You know,
55.
the thought of being in the final would be on the horizon.
$56.
Well, it did go slightly wrong, didn't it? But he was able to recover with the 3-ball plant. Other than that, it's been a great start to the night. Xiao Guodong took on that very difficult pink to right middle and left the chance. And Wakelin looking ready here to seize the opportunity tonight to put himself into the final and indeed into the top 16 in the world.
62. $63.
So the break ends at 63. More than enough to win the opening frame of the night. Chris Wakelin 3 away from the final of the International Championship. Xiao Guodong, just that one miss, and it was a tough pot, but it cost him. 6-3 then.
From 10. Xiao Guodong to break.
Xiao Guodong, the Wuhan Open champion this season. He broke his duck as a ranking event winner. Chris Wakelin, of course, won the shootout, which carried ranking points. Not everyone agrees with that, but that's not his problem. He won it, but he would love to win one of these more conventional events, I guess. And he's 3 frames away from the final against either Ding Junhui or Xu Se.
Well, certainly that shot has ruled out any safety shots to the bulk end of the table, where they would be too risky with the red where it is. So any safety is going to be at this end. Don't know whether that red by the black will just creep into the left middle. If so, he might play it. Well, you saw it was always heading to the near jaw, and it stayed on that line. Interesting situation. The two reds up there, I'm not sure whether the red that's just come to rest now could be parted off the other red, and I saw Wakelin having a little glance across. The third red could be potable into the left middle as well off one of the others, so it's an unusual table, this. Either indirectly or skimming off the red coming through, and that's what he's done. I tell you, he's not frightened to play the big shots, is he, Wakelin? Could have easily just waited there and continued the safety, but he wants to be an attacking force. I'm quite impressed with his tactical and safety aspect. I think that, as I said earlier, is Mark Selby related, who he spent a lot of time practicing with. But when it's time to attack, he's very willing to do so.
Yeah, the self-belief is evident, and even just the victories he's had, you know, a couple of years ago, playing the likes of Williams and Higgins, he might be a bit overawed, but not a bit of it. He knows he deserves to be in this company now.
5.
He had the strangest start to his professional career, because in the Q school, when he got through, his opponent actually snapped his cue. Adam Witchard it was. He leant on it, or something happened, and the cue broke, and he had to concede. And he was actually 3-2 up at the time, so it was a strange old start.
Again, that's a nice shot. It's picking off some reds down the right side. But the pace he played it and the accuracy of the shot were all perfect. Well, what a chance this is as well. I mean, really, now that he's got these balls opened up from that opening red, which was pretty enterprising, into the left middle off the other red. It's a lovely chance. He's a very dangerous player when he's in. And he really is in here. Often you're looking for things that are difficult about this. The only difficulty is the pressure of getting to the final. The balls are in prime position.
$31. $32. $39.
Hear a lot in sport about the zone, and whatever that really is, Chris Wakelin is in it right now. Just concentrating really well, focused on what he's here to do.
40.
Xiao Guodong has attempted two difficult pots, the pink in the first frame and then that red to the opposite middle, the left middle in this frame.
Yes, I think being in the zone often is just about not
47.
overthinking the situation, everything clicking into gear. Something you'd like to recreate, but it just comes
48.
naturally. Concentration is excellent, and all those boxes ticked. Doesn't always last more than a few frames, but he's looking terrific. Certainly had it when he played Stephen Hendry in the qualifier going back a couple of years when Hendry was still playing on the tour, because he just blitzed him.
53.
Yes, that was in the English Open.
54.
Milton Keynes, I was in the commentary box in Eurosport, and it was a completely one-sided game of snooker. Didn't matter who he was playing, he would have beaten them. It's another lovely shot. So the points are all adding up. Red and a black and a following red.
59.
And he's starting to draw clear in this match.
$60.
Yeah, this is his sixth half century of the day. So the red for a 7-3 lead, which is commanding to say the least in the best of 17.
57.
It's not just the lead though, if he pots it, it's how well he's played here in these first two frames. Not put a foot wrong.
$68. $75. 76.
Beautiful shot. Very good. I did like the opening red. We will no doubt look at it at some point. But it
83.
was played either in or off the other red, and
84.
yes, he pushed that red down by the yellow, and that was the only ball that was awkward at the time. Going to play the can on the red by the pink here to keep the break alive, and he's finished on that red now. This is very good stuff, and I believe he's getting to the point now of no return almost for Xiao. I suppose while your opponent's still got to win two, you've got a chance, but something's going to have to change, and it's probably going to be Wakelin not potting all the balls, which he is at the moment. Very little that Guodong can do or has done wrong.
No, I mean, he just had to say the two tough pots that he missed.
97.
So Chris Wakelin has made 3 centuries in the tournament. Black for number 4 to underline just how well he's playing. He's getting better and better with every frame here.
$105.
It does appear that on recent evidence, being in your 30s is a pretty good time to be a snooker player. The experience players have gained by being on the tour a long time, coupled with the ability. Xiao is 35, a ranking tournament winner. Wakelin is, if he wins this match, in the 16 in the world at last. He's blossoming as a player. You've got Ding Junhui, 37, in the other part of the draw. Okay, Zhu Se is 26, but someone who's not over 40 and not a teenager. got all the experience you need and the ability to boot, and it's probably the best time to be playing now. Certainly on the evidence of these matches we're watching, these recent tournaments. The tour is going in a slightly different direction at the moment.
119.
Wakelin is a big part of things.
2 clinical frames from Chris Wakelin. 63 the break in the first. And this one does end at 119. A fine start to the night as he ploughs on into a 7-3 lead. So Xiao Guodong has done little wrong, but is in big trouble. Wakelin just 2 away for a place in the final of the International Championship.
Nothing wrong with that shot, because even a safety shot back to Volk, if Xiao Guodong will have to be very confident he can get past the bulk line with the red up that other end of the table. Anything that goes short of the bulk line, he's leaving possibly that red on, or other reds. So it's not a simple safety shot back, this one. Good shot. Well played. Yes, there's something at long range, but it's not easy. Could be the best chance of Xiao Guodong getting a chance himself, leaving something that's a tempter. Looks like he's taking this on. It's really difficult. Quite cleverly played, but that red going to the left corner was the only way he could leave something, and that is what's happened. Well, the problem with this shot is A, to cue it from a very awkward place down that left side. And also, I mean, you can't really know where the cue ball's going to end up here. There is a gap that you'd like to find back up the table without hitting the red.
What?
Yeah, didn't quite find the gap. He's taking this blue on. I think he has to take it on, but also, as we've seen from Wakelin's form, you can have to get this.
Yeah, I mean, 2 difficult balls missed have cost him 2 frames, haven't they, tonight? And that one's in.
Strange, isn't it? We're seeing that shot a lot, and we invariably say the same thing, that they're difficult. I mentioned it,
6.
but I don't see many of those sort of blues to the bolt pockets missed these days. He was fairly close up behind it, which helped. It was still a good shot, I thought. Crowd thought so as well. That was not hit cleanly.
7.
And he potted it into the centre of the pocket. It screwed back, pink to right middle. That is no longer the case. So it's been put out of his flow over the course of the last few frames. Xiao Guodong.
Xiao Guodong, 7. One.
He put his hand up. He didn't know too much about that. I'm not even sure even was aware that the red went through that gap. Never mind attempt to pot it. Cue ball, as you can see, has gone in the jaws of the yellow pocket, so it's not as if it's an easy follow-up shot for Guodong. Whatever he plays, whether he plays safe or to attempt to pot it into the middle, be a tough shot.
Yeah, I mean, had it gone in off, would he have retracted the apology? I don't know, but anyway, it was very sporting to acknowledge some fortune, but landed nastily.
Xiao Guodong, 1.
Big moments, of course, in the match here. Wakelin gets to 8, then Xiao knows he could be just one mistake away from being knocked out of the tournament, so he's desperately trying to make it closer if he can.
This is where he's a good player, isn't it? Because that was not an easy way of getting back to vault, but he always seems to find it. You know, he's got a pretty good repertoire of pots, break build against safety. Not as if he relies on just one aspect of all those things to be successful.
Yeah, well, you mentioned him earlier, Mark Selby. I mean, you can say the same about him, can't you? And certainly, you've been at the coalface practicing with Selby. You would have seen every facet of the game close up.
That might not be too bad. He's on the blue, I think, with a natural angle to come around a couple of cushions towards the reds. The reds might not be in great shape around and above the black spot, but certainly not from the right side of the table. From the left side, certainly they are, but he can't get over there.
Six. 7.
Well, Xiao's made 5 centuries in the tournament, so he's scored heavily, and also this season he's made 20, which is 1 more than he made the whole of last season, so something has clicked for whatever reason this year. He's measuring that spot.
$14.
Oh dear.
Xiao Guodong.
He just couldn't quite get that break going. You know, he was always chasing it, trying to get into prime position, and then the rest shot you'd expect him to get, but it wasn't simple. Neither is this Fred he's looking at down the cushion. He was hoping to get a little closer to the pot than that, and that way the red wouldn't have come away to the other end of the table. So Guodong with an immediate chance to recuperate for that last miss.
One.
He's creeping in. He's not in the same form today as he was in for his previous matches, or in Wuhan, of course.
The semi-final in Wuhan, it was a shorter match, best of 11. He played Long Jiang, and they were both very poor early on, but Xiao did start to play really well as the match went on. He needs to find that sort of form here, of course. It's a bit awkward at this table. The
Six.
red's clustered in little spots. But at least he's at the table with some sort of chance to build a lead.
Seven.
It would have been a bold prediction, wouldn't it, at the start of the season, to say by Christmas Xiao Guodong would have won 2 ranking events, bearing in mind the previous 17 years on tour, he'd only been in a couple of finals without winning a trophy. But of course he got the chance to win his second this weekend if he can get out of this one.
14. $15.
As you can see, he's going to have to play the black. It's a question of what he does with it. If he can play a little cannon. Black, I think, will go on the highest available. I think it must be the brown from this angle. Actually, the pink spot, of course, will stay free. So that's where it'll go. Now he's potted it from there. But it's the same story, isn't it? He's making this break, but you feel there could be something missed somewhere along the lines because of the degree of difficulty of most of the shots. This, not easy, and also got to get on the colour. He's already missed a red with the rest this frame.
Xiao Guodong. 22.
It's more of the same, isn't it? Just struggling a little bit to get himself into position.
Yes, it wasn't the sort of shot you would choose to be left with 7-3 down in a big semi-final to someone full of confidence.
Yes, not taking it on that red. It was a pretty acute angle, and also he's just waiting for a chance to come. The only good thing from Xiao Guodong's last miss was that he did not leave anything easy. And he's got a good lead, but if you leave Wakelin in, you get the feeling he might clear up the way he's playing. Oh, that's a bad, that is a bad shot. Don't know that he's left an easy shot again here, but that was a sloppy one. And this red is a thin cutback. Got to get beyond the blue on that, otherwise you go from not leaving anything to leaving plenty. Once again, patience. Guodong was lucky, but I think in doing so, Wakelin is kind of putting the balls out in the middle of the table in readiness for the chance if and when it comes.
Yeah, a little shake of the head. A lot to think about here. A lot of danger lurking if he were to hand Wakelin the chance. Everything basically on.
It's not too bad a shot. At least he's pushed that red directly onto the cushion and he hasn't left anything straightforward. He did think it through, that last shot, Guodong. Once again, you can see what he's doing. He's just trying to get balls into play all the time, Wakelin. It's a good battle, this. That was a well-played safety shot. And now the pressure has come back on Wakelin. And he's made the mistake that Guodong has been waiting for, and he has to capitalise. I think he will. This is his way back into the match, certainly by winning a frame anyway. Not exactly anything for Wakelin to worry about yet, but that last safety shot of Guodong's was very good.
Already a useful lead, 44-0. If he does win the frame, then we can sound the biggest frame of the match klaxon, can't we? Because the next one, 8-4 or 7-5, really is huge. But firstly, he's got to make it 7-4.
1. Seven. Eight.
No, I can't believe he's finished there. I cannot believe it. Oh, there's an argument here that he might have to play the black, you know, if he's going to try and keep the break going. It's not an easy shot, but it looks the easiest option of any that are there for him. If he rolls the green and he's not getting close to a red, well, that's what he's going to do. I suppose it's okay, but the pressure is once again building. The lead is not enough just yet. Would come as no surprise if he was to miss his next pot here. He's making heavy weather of this frame. No, he's done well, actually. All credit. Once again, he's still not quite there positionally, but whichever colour he takes high value next will mean that he's managed to win the frame, barring snookers, but he really has to put a lot of effort into this frame. It's been in 3 or 4 different scoring visits. I didn't think that was in, I've got to be honest. When he first hit that, I thought that was to the right of the pocket, but I think it rolled down a bit. Unless my eyes are deceiving me anyway. I'm sure that looked like he'd missed it too thick at first.
Hunt.
Well, the extra red is the significant one, really, because it's going to stop Wakelin getting back into the frame. So, as I say, I mean, it's taken a bit of winning this frame, but it's just imperative he did win it. And now we really do set up a massive frame, 8-4 or 7-5 coming up, the pre-interval frame. The way Wakelin started the night, you could have seen a situation where there would be no interval. He would win 9-3, but that's not happened.
$24. $31. $32.
We've seen enough matches, haven't we, turn around down the years to know that this isn't done yet. Xiao Guodong maybe winning this frame will just
39.
give him a bit of confidence. He seems to have been lacking so far tonight. Even in this frame that he's eventually won. A couple of moments where it could have gone wrong.
And now we're at the semi-final stage. This table would have been recovered going into these matches. These last 3 matches, of which this is the first.
42.
And they're certainly sliding in off the jaws, aren't they, today?
44.
Pockets have been decent all week. Wakelin and Guodong have both enjoyed the size of them. But a couple of shots have just
47.
dropped in, a little surprisingly perhaps. It's become a real scoring fest, hasn't it?
51.
Well, it's a real settler, this break. So, as I say, it sets up frame 12, which just feels massive. Certainly for Xiao Guodong. Either way, Chris Wakelin will be in front at the interval, but what will the lead be, 8-4 or 7-5? But Xiao Guodong has made it closer. In the end, he's dominated the frame. But it is Chris Wakelin still with a handsome lead in this semi-final. 7-4. He still needs 2. We've got a big frame coming up next.
Xiao Guodong to break.
So Xiao Guodong has narrowed the gap, but he's 7-4 down in this big pre-interval frame, trying to stay in touch in this first semi-final here in Nanjing at the International Championship. Quite rare, isn't it, outside of the World Championship to have 2-session matches away from a final, but that's always been the case in this tournament. You know, had it been best of 11, obviously Wakelin would have won by now, but he still needs 2 more.
Such a good and clean pot with the cue ball just racing around the table.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, I think, about the 30-somethings. They are doing well, aren't they? I mean, he's kind of literally the class of 92. Chris Wakelin, he was born in March 1992 in the height of the Stephen Hendry era.
7.
He told me he watches a lot of snooker. Some players sort of try and play down their interest in the game away from actually playing it, but we know they're really watching. But he said, yeah, he loves watching it and obviously learning from what he sees from other players. Not just sort of shot selection, but how they handle themselves as well in these big matches.
And once again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And the balls are opening up nicely again.
14.
He's going to run this through onto the blue and... You do wonder where this could go wrong, and of course anybody can miss. You know, the tables are not so easy going that you can't miss anything. You're more likely to fall out of position than miss an easy pot, I think. Although we have seen the odd black off the spot missed this week, but it's a wonderful chance again, and he's been so dangerous tonight. That last frame was just an inconvenience to him, losing it, not really coming up with a chance.
20.
But he's got one here.
$21.
Now there's a little moment. He played on the left-hand red, didn't land on it. Now he's played the other red onto the blue, so he's going to be further away from this red than he should be. So just a way back for Xiao Guodong. He's ever so slightly out of position, that's all.
26.
But he's retrieved it immediately.
27.
Yes, I mean, we're always looking for a potential turning point, an unexpected slip-up. That could have been it, but just handled it really nicely.
$34. $35.
Yes, I don't think the pink is on its spot. It looks as if it's just above its spot, which wouldn't be surprising given all the reds around it. It's been just moved away, and it looks as if the pink spot is not free, so it's going to have to be put underneath it somewhere, down the bottom between the reds and the black, somewhere there. You can just see the spot there to the left of the pink where it is. Can't think that it'll go back on there unless the angle was deceptive. Well, it's a tight one, all right. Maybe it does go, but when I see that ball marker and it gives the result, I never actually know still whether it goes on or not. It's a good job I'm not a referee, actually, because I've seen all the measurements made, and from what I saw there, I wouldn't have known. But the answer is, as you can see, it doesn't spot. It goes underneath its spot.
$41. $42. $47. $48.
Now once again, he hasn't quite put enough into that, and he's not going to get right in behind the red. We saw it earlier in the break. This time, his next shot more difficult, unless he can run it round the angles when he's playing all through bulk and back down. I must say, he didn't have the angle for the shot, and if anything, he's finished even worse than if he'd have rolled the blue in.
53.
So that has come to an end, I think. All because of a slightly poor positional shot, getting wrong on the blue. So not a one frame, or one visit frame rather.
Chris Wakelin. 53.
Still a handy lead.
Yes, if anything, it feels like an even bigger frame now, because that was a good chance until he lost his way there. Xiao Guodong at least not out of it yet. He caught that a little thick, didn't he?
Oh, this is not easy now. 53 in front. You don't really want to be playing this shot. So, Guodong might have a chance with the rest. He has not been that great with it tonight. Missed a couple of not very difficult shots with the rest. Looks like his logo's about to fall off on the sleeve, doesn't it? It's just hanging precariously there. And it is on the way out.
Well, if it did and hit a ball, it would be a foul. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Well, now that's very interesting. It's a good pot, very clean, and just a possible route back into this frame. A long way off yet, but you know, if he could somehow find a way of winning it, then Wakelin would be thinking over the course of the mid-session about how he didn't go on and win it when the chance was his. But this is all for the future. Let's see how he gets on. Well, he's played a little fiddly shot there. Very awkward to just land right behind that red. He's
6.
You know, you're not using a cushion. He just wanted to get to the sort of the line of the D. And now this next red to middle isn't much fun. Do you know, I think he believed that he'd missed that when he hit it, because he leapt up in the air and he just saw it falling off the furthest point of the lip. I've seen some really good snooker in this evening's session, but the next little exchange here and the chance for Guodong is the most crucial of the lot. Can he find a way of taking this frame, keeping the lead to just a couple? Is how they started this evening. He wouldn't bet against it the way he's been playing. The last few weeks he's been in absolutely the form of his life.
Yes, and it would just give Wakelin a few things to think about, because, of course, he was in first. It's not like Xiao's got in first himself and made a century. Wakelin was going along nicely, just lost ideal position from red to blue and then didn't get on another red.
$17. 18.
Yes, I wonder if he would like to get onto the pink here. I wouldn't blame him if he
25.
did. Not sure if he can, but it would certainly be better on its own spot. Oh no. Oh no. Well, I think he was right to hold for the pink, but obviously overcutting it. That was a massive moment in the context of the whole match.
One.
Well, one thing we have seen is that the pockets are favourable along the black cushion, and if you miss those, then one thing you know is that you have really missed it. And it was always hitting the bottom jaw. It still tried to go in. And that one tried to go in as well.
7.
The only good news for Wakelin is that he doesn't need any more than the red. He's coming away from the high-value colours.
Got a bit nervy though, hasn't it? It's quite a nervy pink. It only just went in. This red then. And it's looking like 8-4. No, I mean, I wasn't sure because these pockets are generous. It didn't look like it would drop.
Chris Wakelin,
And
7.
it didn't drop.
I have to say, with Wakelin, you know, you can just see it, can't you? And I'm a big fan of his game, but you can just see the focus become lost. Every now and then he looks $1 million and then something goes wrong and he starts looking around the room, and it's something he's done throughout his career. I hope I'm not being harsh on him, but it's something that is an observation that for someone so good, how things can just fall apart a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't pot the pink well, did he? And the red, you know, you still fancied him for it, but he could have been on basically an unmissable pot.
With Chris, it's not so much when he's behind, it's actually when he's in front and you can see the winning line that it happens. I mean, the last thing I'll say on it, because we're going to move on to the next part now, what Guodong does here, but red over the pocket, pink out to the right corner, and the red above it is all he needed there.
7.
And how he didn't manage it, I don't know. Well, roll the red down the cushion. I think he'd probably get it, but the snooker looks a certainty if that's what he ends up playing.
Xiao Guodong, 7.
So many balls that were going to be in the way there, and it has to have been the right shot. The pot was never the shot, but I still think that on this table you're going to get some of those down there if you play it. Anyway, it's all gone well for Guodong because there's room around the back of the red to miss it altogether. This is no fun, this shot. 28 in front means very little at this stage. I think the escape off the right cushion, the brown is off its spot and in the way of that.
Yeah, and in his mind somewhere he must be thinking, how have I got myself into this position? Because, okay, he was in first, that's one thing, but golden chance after Xiao broke down, missing the red. Just needed 3 pots and it would have been 8-4.
So the brown is definitely in the way of the one cushion, but it could be that Wakelin could play off 2 and possibly go between green and brown, but even then it sounds horrible, doesn't it? And looks horrible, that shot. He could easily hit the brown on the way through or the green on the way through here to the red. This is a free ball.
And miss. Xiao Guodong 4.
If it isn't, he's going straight back. If it is, he'll take the free ball, I should think. I'd love to see down the line here.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the Hawkeye technology, haven't we, this week, which would tell you, actually.
Free ball.
Well, he's given the free ball.
Free ball, yeah.
Now Wakelin's going to have a look. That's not a free ball. No chance.
Okay.
Not a chance.
Well, more reds are appearing on the table.
No.
I think he's rescinded. Has he rescinded his decision? I think he has. So it's going to be going back.
I mean, it's kind of bad news and bad news, isn't it, for Wakelin, really? I mean, it's no free ball, which is meant to be good, but I mean, he's still got this problem, and he did get through the green and brown, but the problem with doing that is that it's the direct route round the back of the red anyway, so he's in all kinds of trouble, isn't he? In fact, the referee's Welly, in his own unhurried way, is having a few moments here also.
Foul and miss.
Things starting to unravel here quite a lot. I think the swerve, having seen him play it, is probably the way he'll have to go. Because I think he will hit it in the end, but at what cost?
This is the technology that, well, he's not got it in the circle yet, but we've been saying, you know, it'd be handy to have this at all tournaments, not just the Chinese events, because at least it shows the players as well. Is he just guiding this into the circle so that it sort of flashes?
It's good technology as long as it's used properly.
Well, it wasn't quite right, that, I don't think, but anyway. Attempt number 3, Wakelin obviously looking to hit the red, but cannot afford to leave it on either. He's hit the blue again.
Foul and miss.
Well, even if it's a free ball this time, I don't think he'll take it with the blue going safe, quite honestly. So it might be academic. I don't think... Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's a free ball either, actually. But anyway, it doesn't matter. This. Now, with this swerve, anyone that plays this game might be able to understand what I'm saying. He's got to hit it harder, so the swerve takes later. The slower you play it, the swerve has come into operation too soon. And that's why he's gone into the ball he's trying to swerve around. Well, that's a mile away.
Yeah, I mean, this is... Well, there's been 3 misses, haven't there? So, you know, the cue ball has always been... Well, it's always supposed to be there. I think, yeah, that's about right.
It's okay. It's slightly more this way. Just a fraction. And then to the right. Okay.
Now, this is it feels like a huge passage of play now, doesn't it? I mean, he's got to hit this little more firmly and find his way round the blue. That's the shot, and what an end. How about that for a result? How about that?
Well, a triumph of persistence there. Be delighted, won't he, with that result?
He's played a good shot in the end. He actually has got that right, that swerve. But, I mean, the rest of it, of course, he knew absolutely nothing about.
Well, you know, we did say it was a big frame, and that's how it's panning out, isn't it? It feels like a deciding frame almost. He's had everything so far. Now it's Xiao who's got to get the red safe. Cue ball's heading in.
Foul. Grace Wakelin 4.
Well, you know, that could have been worse. It really could, with the cue ball in hand and the red going past the bulk line. You could have left an unmissable shot. I don't know even if you can go for this now. So things could have been worse. I think if you could have given Xiao Guodong that outcome, he'd have probably taken it. Might end up snookered again, but he's still in the frame. There's plenty of mileage left in this frame.
Well, he's kissed the pink, as you see. The cue ball otherwise would have been heading further left of the table.
This is going to look a lot more difficult than all those pots he's been knocking in this evening, because things have started to unravel a bit for Wakelin. This is not an easy one to have.
Another big shot in a big frame. Yeah.
You can sense it, can't you? You can just sense it with any player, but especially Wakelin, I think. Well, maybe no pot available, but an absolute surefire snooker if he wants it. Just behind the black from the pink. This is the frame, isn't it? We've seen lots of great break building all week. We've seen a 147, centuries and all kinds, but frames like this are the interesting ones, aren't they, in some ways? He's just got to play him behind the black.
Oh, my word. Good grief, that was close. That was close. That would have been major trouble.
Well, he wouldn't have been apologising for the fluke had it gone in anyway.
Well, it's turning into that sort of frame, though, isn't it, where, you know, things are starting to happen.
It's all right, though, now, isn't it? Because the pink never went in and he's got him in. Wakelin's in a whole load of trouble now because this is one of those snookers that you're not even really, you've got the ball you're trying to hit in your eye line. I mean, he's looking away from his target ball here. And I always think that makes it difficult to get the perspective for the shot, that you're not even seeing the ball you're trying to hit.
Anyways.
This is not going to go back. This really isn't. And I have to say, sometimes the yellow off the spot with the cue ball in hand, same applies to the green. You know, you can see these missed on these tables, but I think the middles are relatively generous. If it goes in, he's probably going to win the frame.
Well, it could be an uncomfortable interval for Chris Wakelin, even though he'd still be in front. But what chances he's had in this frame? He was 53 in front, lost his way. Then he had the golden chance when Xiao missed. Couldn't put it away.
5.
Yes, but I guess the only possible consolation here is that Xiao will need the black. Doesn't only need the pink. Of course, it would be a formality if that was the case, but he'll be 7 in front if he pots the pink, which means just a glimmer of hope in this frame still for Wakelin.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a respot, yeah.
Probably exactly where he wants to be. For Wakelin, the wheel's not fallen off, but it's come loose, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have much of a chance in the last frame, but this one, he would feel he should have won. An 8-4, you know, he's almost there, isn't he?
Now, the other thing about this shot is the cue ball is travelling down the left side of the table. It can finish tight on the cushion, side cushion. Could end up on the black cushion. It's a very hard shot to end up right behind your next ball. But I tell you what, that is pretty good effort, isn't it? Very good shot.
Well, we built the frame up to be big, and it delivered.
Yeah, he took his chalk. I'm not surprised. It was right in line with the pocket there.
The black and Xiao Guodong is hanging on at 7-5. Steadies himself. If you didn't know it was a big shot, he let you know, didn't he, there? He took a long time over it, but he has salvaged the frame. Chris Wakelin will surely feel he should be 8-4 up. He's still leading at the interval, but only by 2, and this could be a very close affair yet before we find out who is going to be the first man into the final. So we're ready to restart a dramatic semi-final here at the International Championship. I mean, it's the old cliche, isn't it? If you'd have said at the start of the day, Chris will be 7-5 up, he'd be happy, but not the way it's panned out. Could easily, should have been 8-4, but he's still in front, and he has a chance to reach the final. You do wonder, though, I mean, there's big pressure anyway. It's a massive event, this, with a chance for the trophy, the big prize money, but the knowledge that if he wins, he'll be in the top 16 for the UK Championship. So he won't be going to Leicester to qualify. He'll be at York. Great venue there, great event. That's maybe also adding to the pressure. Of course, Xiao got that done yesterday with his victory over Jackson Page. We'll see. Wakelin's still in front at least.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, of course, at the start of the day, Wakelin would have been happy to be 7-5 up. And at 5-3, if you could sit or share the first 4 frames, that would have been suitable as well. But again, it is how it happened is the most difficult aspect of it. Well, That's a good start for Chris Wakelin. Can he have regrouped? And he did it against Higgins yesterday, because at 5-all I thought Higgins looked the strongest, and then they were dragged off the table, kicking and screaming in the case of Higgins. He didn't want to go. And then Wakelin got the job done, so this is an examination of his temperament, I think.
Yes, we've spoken about his positivity, which is a genuine thing, and that could well be the decisive factor, the mindset coming back out after the interval to reset and then try and rediscover that golden form he had at the start of the session.
7. Twelve.
Oh, that's a dreadful shot. That really is. What's he done there? He's on the black and he's almost trying to pretend it wasn't a mistake. Didn't want to be that far down. Oh, goodness me.
Chris Wakelin, 13.
He's usually got a good cue ball control, but he played a bad shot on the red and almost acted as if nothing happened. But in his mind, he knew that he'd made an error of the shot before. Quite tight, you know. He might have been close to hitting that pink had he made the right contact to pot the red. So these two now just reminding us that a lot of this snooker is not about potting balls, it's what's between the ears.
It could have been a worse result. I mean, the cue ball at least has gone to the side cushion. He could have been left with a sitter, Wakelin. And it's a good pot, because the pressure on every shot now, it seems.
Wow, you can get through there. I mean, from the other angle, it didn't seem to be any way you could get the cue ball through there to pot the black.
Eight. Nine.
So, Reds nicely spread the black on its spot. It is a very good scoring chance. If you can just keep things as straightforward as possible.
Yeah, that red going in the middle didn't look much, but I think that might have just settled his nerves a little there.
16.
Last shot. I think he's playing fairly quickly now. I wouldn't say he's rushing, but he's playing quickly and as if he just wants to get these balls potted as soon as he can.
24.
He mentioned the Masters in one of his interviews. That's a big target to get in that. Obviously a great event at the Alexandra Palace in the new year. And it's worth saying the first prize there has actually gone up £10,000 from last season. It's now $25,000 just for being in it. So apart from anything else, financially, that would be a nice New Year windfall.
Yes, I think of all the things that you benefit from being in the 16, it's great to be at the Crucible, of course, but to play in the Masters that you've earned as a seeded player is a great privilege and an honour. You know, it's something very important in the player's development. It means a lot to play there. You've got to soak it up, and it could be that that's going to be the case with Wakelin.
Again, he left that more difficult than it could have been. He was straight on the blue again. So, as I say, he's trying to just keep in tight position. He just slightly lost it.
So the 8. So the 9.
Well, again, he's not finished nice here. So pressure on this, and it's not what you need when you're already under pressure. Big shot, this pink. Oh, it struggled in.
Yeah, so we thought that would drop in, but as you say, it was touch and go.
Well, apologies, we've got just a slight interference with the pictures. Hopefully that will not be a problem now. Chris Wakelin doesn't want to break up either here. He wants to continue and put the frame away. We can get to 8-5, then, you know, a bit of pressure lifts.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you've explained it perfectly, exactly the reasons why you might be thinking this way. All of the rewards for being not only in the final, and that in itself would be something, but everything else that goes with it. I suppose it's best not to have any of those thoughts clouding your mind, but it's hard not to be thinking along those lines. He's probably someone that does look at rankings and all of that. That's a horrendous shot, actually, by his high standards.
52.
That's a horrendous shot. How's he not on anything there? Oh, he's absolutely feast or famine with Wakelin, isn't it? Some of the terrific shots he plays, and he's played an awful shot there. And he's not safe yet in the frame.
No, exactly. He just needed a red. You know, and you'd think you can't fail to be on one.
Crystal green. 52. Touching ball.
Well, of course, the problem ball here is the red in bulk for Guodong. He's got a touching ball. There's very little he can do here. I don't know if he could push that red down the table. Touching ball. What on earth would you play? Well, I don't know. He's not going to do a lot, this one. I wondered if there's anything he could do with that red up the table. Because if you could get that red down to the black end, then all of a sudden, with 67 on the table, yeah, he could clear, but with it there, he's never going to be able to do it.
Oh, what a funny little moment this is.
The problem he's got here, Guodong, is that sometimes you can feather the cue ball and not reach on these very close-up ones, and that would be meaning that he needed a snooker. Now what's this? He's going to push the black safe, I think. Good idea. Hasn't really done it. Yes, he's going to try and do something with his red. I was wondering about that earlier. Now, he's left a long pot, but the pressure on this now is huge because, yes, if it goes in, he definitely takes a frame, but if it doesn't, then who knows what could happen. It's a big shot, this one. And he's passed the test, and that's quite a nice shot to conclude the frame when it comes to the important stuff.
So it looks like Xiao Guodong will have to win the last 4 frames now if he is to reach the final. The funny thing about Wakelin, if he does come through this match, it'll be really dangerous, I think, in the final. The fact that he's achieved that top 16 position, he'll be absolutely buzzing. But it's just getting to 9 that's been the issue here, but it looks like he's at 8.
He's a really good player, Wakelin, isn't he? I mean, we've seen it enough times now. He's really good, dangerous. Sometimes things just get on top of him mentally, I think, but his ability is absolutely superb. And like you say, you know, he could easily go on and win.
7.
You would have feared for him had he somehow lost this frame, but you can put all that to one side
12.
and just now try and play one more good frame.
13.
Get himself in the final in the top 16 in the world as well, with a chance to win the title and all the doors that that would open.
Nineteen.
So, another eventful frame, but Chris Wakelin relieved to have the chance at the long red, which he potted well. And he is 1 frame away now from an appearance in the final of this international championship. He leads Xiao Guodong by 8 frames to 5. So waiting for Chris Wakelin, who needs 1 more frame to reach the final of the international championship and join the world's top 16 for the first time in his career. Xiao Guodong has already achieved that feat. Right now he needs to win the last 4, put himself in the final and set up a chance to win a 2nd ranking title this season. So what a frame this could be for Wakelin in terms of his whole career.
1.
Great shot. Of course, when you hit it that well, invariably you get the second part of the shot, which is the return to the bulk area. Absolutely as clean as a whistle this went in.
Foul.
Oh dear. Well, that's unlucky. They're not easy.
1. Shovel room 4. Free ball.
And there's not a player on the tour, or even, you know, an amateur player who's half decent who hasn't done that, rolled up to a colour and not reached. I always used to find that when you've got the cue ball underneath the cushion rolling up, it's even more difficult when you can only see the top of the ball. Unsurprisingly, I mean, I don't know even what he was looking at. Surely he was always going to just ask it to play from there. What else could he have done? Yes, he had a free ball, but no, nothing was any use to him.
Yeah, this is a little bit laughing on the outside, crying on the inside, I think, for Chris.
Touching ball, so he's right over the top of that red, and this is not an easy drop into left middle. Good shot, very good. In no way I'd have put my hand up to apologise for that kiss, because he hit it so well. I would have expected exactly that. And I've been Xiao Guodong.
Stephen Hendry's furious, isn't he, with all the apologising that goes on these days. All the chatting between players as well before matches.
Yeah, I mean, I see the point, and I think sometimes if you get an outrageous fluke, you should acknowledge it, really, but not almost all the time there. Players are putting their hand up for something. He's playing well enough to win this match still, Xiao Guodong. You know, the way he's been playing the last few weeks, he could reel off these frames.
Thirteen.
Yes, of course, in Wuhan he made 3 centuries in a row, didn't he, against Sean Murphy. How he would love to repeat that feat. In fact, Sean was applauding. That's another thing Stephen didn't like. But that's how good it was.
Got to be mindful of knocking a red in here. It could easily happen. Terrific split. Very good.
19.
Yes, I mean, the initial red was a really good pot, wasn't it? But it shows the significance of Wakelin failing to get in behind the yellow. That's where this started. And now, what a chance to reduce the gap to 2 again.
Just a bit of a stretch, this one, and there's a red that also is kind of underneath his eyes, which is a distraction. So it's a great split, but the next red is not without 1 or 2 difficulties. He doesn't want that one back. Clearly he's overhit. He didn't play on the blue in the bottom left, but that's what he's on, right behind it. Although he's interested in the yellow. Well, I don't know. I can only assume that that blue didn't go into that left
So
corner.
hold on.
I thought it certainly would, because surely he'd have played the blue as opposed to the yellow. He's missed some rest shots tonight already, and he missed that one by an absolute mile.
One.
This yellow is playing its part in the frame, isn't it? Because the cue ball could have finished anywhere from Wakelin's initial pot on the red, and that yellow, of course, is there because Xiao Guodong missed it. It's the ball Wakelin failed to roll up behind, but he's potted it. Of course, the split that Xiao got, Wakelin can now benefit from. So this is his first chance to put himself into the final.
Four.
Well, quite a stretch, but he doesn't need the extension on his cue. Leaving it on the table, which is a little bit distracting. How did that drop in? How did that drop in? I've got absolutely no idea. Someone maybe could tell me watching. It was not close, and it still went.
$11.
Well, that one was wide. That was not going in. So, yeah, it was a nervy visit, let's be honest. Could have missed a couple of moments ago. Did miss that one. That was his first chance then to get it won, but Xiao comes to the table still in front.
One. Seven. Eight.
Yeah, it's really important to get that blue away from there and back on its spot. So the lead is growing. It's not been a classic frame, but
13.
they certainly all count. And with the reds in open play, he can get over the line here. Just the red by the black is a slight concern. Wants to be on the black to perhaps just shift it slightly from where it is.
$14.
Yeah, he needs to nudge the red down from there. It's decent. 23 in it, so a couple more reds with colours.
21. $22.
Yeah, this could get very
28.
tense yet, I think. Chris Wakelin looked like he'd missed the pink. He did miss the blue shortly afterwards. And what was a sort of chance you would look for to win a match, with the reds all out in the open. Xiao Guodong at full stretch. Keeping that toe on the floor.
29.
And keeping himself, more importantly, in this match. Two snookers needed, but he's on the next red.
36.
So it's going to be 8-6. Well, I say that, he's not potted it.
Xiao Guodong, 36.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Wakelin probably feels obliged to carry on. As we see the ball that he missed there. Probably feels obliged to carry on. If he can get it down to one red and something like 40 behind, he would just think there was still a way of winning the frame. He'd probably like to just get on with the next frame. I think the other thing to say is that when Wakelin won the frame to go 8-5, we thought it had completely settled his nerves, but he hasn't, clearly. It's not to say he won't still win, but he rolled up behind the yellow, didn't reach, and a couple of other shots either went in through the side door or didn't go in at all. And for now, he's struggling, but still with a 2-frame lead. After this one is won, which it just about is. And somehow the frame lives on. I just wonder if he would just roll up to the brown here and push the red to the bulkhead and get into the snooker that way, although what he really would like to do is pot a red and a high value colour and attempt to get the couple of snookers he needs that way.
What?
As we've seen this evening session, if you can lay a good snooker that's tough to hit, you can get a lot of points back from that. obviously the miss rule does not come in when a player requires snooker, so that's not going to be the case. But just thinking that the scenario that he pots this black, gets a snooker on the red, and possibilities of free ball as well. Putting the red by one of the bulk colours, all these things have got to be done. But the shot is there somewhere
8.
to bring him back into the frame. Needs 2 snookers.
Chris Wakelin 8.
Interesting angle to see it from, but he has snookered him at least.
Xiao Guodong's had goes at 2 relatively easy pots to kill this off, and the danger for him is the colours are all on their spots, so if Wakelin were to get a snooker, maybe a snooker and a free ball, you know, then the clearance would definitely be on. There's nothing on a cushion which would help Xiao.
Well, he certainly should hit this, and if he wasn't to hit it, I think he would like to sort of hit the green, hit the right hand side of the red, because it wouldn't leave a free ball that way. But he hit it. Just full ball is the answer. He's pretty confident out of snookers, Guodong, but of course there's always something there that could cause him a problem in the offing. There's another one. Has to make them more difficult than that, I think. This time there's a direct route through to the red. All kinds of things happening here. Another snooker is very likely from this position.
Yes, I mean, he came so close to the in-off there. Seen these sort of frames before, all sorts of things are possible, aren't they? I mean, after we did that frame between Jimmy White and Hossein Vafai in Belfast, you know for sure anything could happen.
Yeah, I mean, this shot is, if you're going to try and push the red back down the table and get a snooker beyond one of the bulk colours, always a chance the red will hit something on the way back down. Like one of the bulk colours. Or into the... something anyway to avoid it being a snooker. Or you'll find a gap.
Yeah, this is the problem now. He's lost control of the exchange. The sort of snooker he would wanted to have laid Wakelin, but he's in it himself. Yeah, and And, well, as I say, I mean, that's the result he would have been looking for if he had laid the snooker. But the fact is he's missed, he's left the free ball and he's conceded. So he had a great chance. He missed that blue. And Xiao Guodong extends the semi-final. He's still in this. It's got a bit nervy. And Wakelin's lead is reduced to 8-6. So he remains one away from reaching the final of this international championship. It would be his third ranking final. He won the shootout, lost last season in the Northern Ireland Open to his nemesis Judd Trump, who of course he would play if he won the tournament. He'd play him in the Champion of Champions next week, next Wednesday in fact. It's 14-0, remember, overall to Trump, but that's not a bad problem to have. It would mean you'd be in the tournament having won this one. Can worry about Judd next week if it comes to that.
Yes, he's trying to hit a single red, and that's always going to cause problems, and it will be going back for the foreseeable if he keeps on playing that shot. Well, it certainly will be going back on another occasion. Plays the same shot, he'll be looking at a different shot, given that he can see a red full on. So I suppose he could afford to play it on one more occasion, that last attempt to hit the red by the black. But on the third go, should he miss, it would be a different ball game. This is a different route now. Around 2 cushions into the bunch, I think. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, what a crunching long pot that was. It's the one place where it's not great over there. Could have done with getting the cue ball back further off the cushion and back out for something to the right corner. Now, what's he seen? Something he spotted here that I don't think he was aware of. Can he still get to the bottom red, the one above the black? Of the two that are close together, that is, the left one. Certainly something has caught his eye. It looks tight, though, because he initially was very disappointed to finish there. Well, that shows you that he could get to it because
Guodong,
he
4.
missed it on the right side of the pocket.
Well, the good news for Xiao is he has covered that red with the blue.
So for now, all the fluency and the big scoring has dried up.
So, a mistake from Xiao, but can Wakelin pot this initial red, slightly hampered by the green?
One.
Good shot, isn't it, though? As you say, he was hampered. It was not easy. He's played it nicely, and now, you know, where the balls are, they're in pretty good positions now. The up and down, avoiding a bolt colour on the way back. That's decent, and with
6.
the black available to left corner, you can just run that red through. So we're talking about another great chance to get the match won here.
Grace
Oh
Wakelin,
my.
6.
Oh dear. Wow. Just watching him queue up on that, you know, the cue was not going through very straight, and I didn't expect him to miss, but I had to say that the way he was addressing it, he did wonder. Well, it was a bad one. And sometimes rest shots, of course, if you're not a Kyron Wilson or a Sean Murphy, of course you can miss them because it's not easy using the rest. But it will only mean anything if Guodong, who needs a spider for this shot, by the way, if you can turn this into a frame-winning chance and compound the problem. And this is, looks, I mean, what's happening here? He's got the extension on. Now he's doing something which I have to say I don't agree with this. I know it's perfectly legal. I don't think that's the reason the spider is in existence, so you can use it like that way round. don't think that that's the purpose of the spider, but that's not really for me. That's for the rule makers, and what he did was perfectly legitimate under the rules.
Yeah, I saw Karen Wilson do that a few years ago, and again, you know, you can do it. It just looks a bit strange, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it should be done, but I said my bit on that, and it was good thinking under the rules from Guodong, and now he's got a chance himself.
Eight.
Oh, wow, it went all round the lip of the pocket. He was shaking his head furiously at first, before he even, I think, saw he was on that red.
I mean, I must admit, I always thought it would drop, but goodness me, it nearly stayed out.
He sort of convinced himself, I think almost the break was over, but anyway, he has potted the red. But you can just feel the tension, can't you? It's absolutely palpable.
$16. $17.
Well, he's got through the early part of this break unscathed. He's still going, and now what a wonderful opportunity it has become. But the pressure, the tension has ramped up considerably, hasn't it, in the last half an hour, 40 minutes. Of course, don't forget, Guodong's under more pressure because his opponent needs one frame. But it feels at the moment like it's Wakelin is under the pressure.
$22. $23. $30.
Well, the cue just snuck through that little gap, and he's very close again. He's shaking his head once again as to whether he's on the ball. Wow, that is another tight one, I think. If not, he's got to play the red into that middle pocket again. So he's finding problems of his own here.
Yeah, it's just become so nervy, and obviously leaving yourself these missable pots just increases the nerves. I mean, there's been some easier ones missed than this already. But
31.
he's cleared that hurdle.
And didn't he play it well? You know, he didn't just sort of dribble it to the pocket. He really did strike it with authority in the end.
38.
Well, if it's Derby now, what will it be like if it does go 8-all? I mean, it's not 8-7 yet, but Xiao has the chance to close the gap further. Wakelin had a chance in the previous frame, missed a blue, missed that red with the rest in this frame when he was in.
Certainly.
This is like a high wire act, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, 2 reds have gone in off that bottom jaw of the right middle pocket there, which is not really where you'd want to be playing them into.
Yeah, it's like a high wire act in the middle of a gale right now. But Xiao Guodong is still just about making his way across.
It's an enjoyable match to watch, just the way the tension is there. But looking at Wakelin in his chair a minute ago, I'm not so certain he's enjoying all this. And he's still in front, but he was a little bit lower in that chair, wasn't he, than he started.
45.
I wouldn't say he slumped in the chair, but he's certainly sitting right back into it. So, 2 reds to the right of the pink and just below it. If you could hit the top one on the left side, that should put him on a number of possibilities to be on a red. That's what he's tried. That'll do. He did flick the pink on the way through, so that was slightly fortunate. But the black's been put out of play. That's not in his favour.
50.
And he has more to do.
$51.
Well, I've lost count on the amount of balls he's had to play slowly into a middle pocket while hampered in this break. It's got to be a 2 or 3. There's another one here. But everything was put in front of him, he seems to be getting over, and he looks the more composed of the 2 right now. And if you could win this frame, which he's
57.
not far from doing, it's becoming very interesting, this match.
$58.
So 57 in front, as you see, this red, and it looks like 8-7.
63.
And, well, who knows after that, because it's got edgy, but Xiao Guodong, to his credit, despite leaving himself a couple of tough ones, has kept going here. It's been a good break in the end. Came off the back of Wakelin's miss with the rest on that red. So Chris Wakelin has had chances to win both 9-5 and 9-6. He's going to have to try and get it 1-9-7, otherwise we're going to come down to a decider.
Seventh. $71.
It's been a very fine break. I mean, it's been difficult for the most part, actually, and he's kept it going. It's
77.
a number of shots into the middle pockets that have been awkward.
His ice break so far 83 in the third frame. He's had 3 half-centuries prior to this one, so it's been from him a little bit bitty, but if you're going to play your best, do it at the end of the match.
I don't know how on earth does he get on the red. I'm sure it won't go unless he cannons it. He must think it goes from down low. Goodness.
84.
There's not a lot of red sticking out, but you must think he can just about knock this in. Oh, great shot.
85.
It wouldn't have gone from anywhere higher up than that, so just about enough sticking out.
$90.
Yeah, very good 90. That's Xiao Guodong's highest break of the match, and it keeps him well and truly in the match. And this has got a lot closer, just 1 in it. He's won the last 2 to close the gap to 8-7. A tense affair here in Nanjing. It's now 8-7 to Chris Wakelin in this best of 17 semi-final. How he wishes it was still best of 11. It would all be over by now, but he still needs one. He was 8-5 up. He's had chances in the last 2. Xiao Guodong made a really good 90 there to get to within 1.
Yes, I mean, he's been attacking all the way through Wakelin, but this shot isn't very nice. The red up the table means that it's quite difficult to pot it and punch the cue ball around the angles. This can go wrong. Ah, great shot. That's a terrific shot. Something he really needed to happen there that was positive. Brilliant pot. As I say, if you don't get the pot, the cue ball sort of goes off at the wrong angle and you leave potentially the red up the table and all kinds of things. Now this time in behind the green. Didn't fall short like he did earlier. I don't think he'll mind how he can win this frame as long as he does win it.
It's worth reiterating what a terrific set of results he's had this week. He actually had a walkover because that surety withdrew, but then he beat Sean Murphy, he beat Mark Williams, and he beat John Higgins. 3 players with 8 world titles and a lot more between them. And his reputation in the game is growing all the time, but this is a testing sort of half an hour or so for him. He either takes a massive step forward, Wakelin, and gets into the final and the top 16, seeded at York and all the other benefits that could come, or it could be a step backwards if he loses from 8-5 up, and all of that, for now, goes out the window.
Plenty of danger with this shot. He's urging that cue ball across, but he has left the bottom red accessible. Wakelin was very quickly in behind the shot. He wants to play it. He wants to try and steer that cue ball out of positioning in the reds. He's using a trace of right-hand side on this. Oh no. Not enough right-hand side. Well, it could have been slightly worse Could have been absolutely embedded in the bunch, but I think he can get to the yellow. At least to hit it.
Yellow ball.
They'd be very annoyed there. I suppose the other way he could have played it was a lot with more pace on the red and just gone into the bunch, ploughed into them, and hopefully get out of there onto a colour. Instead, the pace he hit it, you know, he's always going to finish in them, in amongst them. Well, a lot of shaking of the head from Guodong. There's about 4 or 5 shots that he could play. All of them are probably as tricky as each other. He could try and pot that red up the table and be done with it. At least there's an element of positivity in that shot. Oh, that is an absolute dream. What wonderful cueing. You know, he had a bit of an angle on the red. How did he get it back there? That was a magnificent strike. Well, I don't know what happened there. That yellow started to go back away from the pocket. I tell you, there's a lot of drama out there, but we're not going to see it again, unfortunately. But I wish we could, because that yellow did something strange. Put it that way, close to the pocket.
Well, it is strange. You know, we've had balls going in that shouldn't. We've had balls staying out that should have gone in. But what it means is Chris Wakelin now gets a third chance. He's had one in each of the last 2 frames. Good chances, that is. He's been in already in this one, of course. What can he make here? What sort of lead can he build up? But Xiao Guodong looks completely bemused, meanwhile, in the background.
Yeah, last thing I'll say about it is that if he'd have hit it to the middle of the pocket, it would definitely have gone in. But it was one of those that was going to just wriggle its way in and started to go back outwards. Bizarre.
So he can just stay nicely in, just build up, you know, 40, 50 points, and then he'll be close to killing it off. Easy to say all of that, I know.
$13. $14.
I think you do very well to get the match one here. You know, it's not least a difficult table. Never mind the extra pressure that seems to have come into this match. He didn't want to play the yellow here, and he still may not, but it's there for him if he feels he can't get from colour to red. Don't want to hit the brown on this. Oh my goodness. I'm starting to think, you know, this is going to be a real struggle to go over the line now. I thought it all along, but I don't know how he's missing balls now that he was absolutely superbly knocking in earlier.
One. Seven. Eight.
Pretty good, bringing another red into play, although to pot a red here and stay on the pink looks as if it can't happen.
14.
Very tense at the moment, this match. Xiao has started to hold himself together better than his opponent. But still behind in the match. And this time the yellow is going to have to be potted, and to get from the ball right over the pocket, right up there, down onto a red is not as easy as you might think.
No, he's also knocked a red safe, and of course there's one safe by the blue, one by the black, so only two in front with the yellow. He's going to have to start developing balls as well to get this one.
I think he'd be happy with that. That's something he would probably have settled for
17.
positionally.
Eighteen. $24. $25.
Yeah, didn't have a lot of room to manoeuvre there, but he tell you what, he's making a very good effort with these shots to middle pocket. It's in the last frame and this one. I mean, there was very little on when he came to the table, but he's making the best of it. He's certainly playing like the man with the confidence of a ranking tournament to his name now. All these years he never had any of that.
As I say, though, we're now coming to the reds that are awkwardly positioned.
Indeed, but he is building a good lead up. That's the other point. He's 23, doesn't sound many, but on this table with the balls where they are, it's a handy lead. He's making Chris Wakelin pay for the mistakes he has made here. That rest shot in the last frame, the blue that he missed this frame. You know, he's making him sit down and think about them.
So Guodong leads by 23. There's a lot of mileage in this frame yet, though. Yeah, it's 3 shots, isn't it? It was the blue in one frame, the red with the rest in the next, the blue in this one. They've all contributed. 3 chances already to get himself into the final.
Guodong played a good shot there, put the red by the black, block off those two. And that was also a good shot from Wakelin, because he might have to disturb them now. If he does play to hit these, I think the thinnest of thin contacts on this right-hand red. I think he hit more of that than he wanted to. Wakelin could push the black into play now, which again, scoreboard will dictate there that he's got to try and open the balls up to the best of his ability. 23 behind.
Well, the reds are now all in open play. So it has changed the nature of this frame. These sort of matches, when you get to this stage, the quality doesn't really matter. It's the drama that has been served up. Another very good safety shot, in fact. You can get through to the left-hand red, but the pressure's on in how he plays it. Right-hand side, I think, to avoid hitting the middle red. Oh, that's a kiss from the gods. Yes, it's what he needs not right now, isn't it? A little bit of running, which he got there, because this red would have been on but for the kiss. of course, the issue Xiao has got, and he's had it for a while, is that, oh, he's had a hit and hope. I was going to say he knows his next shot could be his last. He's had a hit and hope.
And miss. Chris, we're going to fight.
Well, I mean, I don't know what was going to happen if the balls need replacing, because everything was a blur there, and we were seeing... Now I know why Wakelin was flinching there, because you could see what was being unleashed.
Does this red go to middle? He's having a look. If not, then, yeah, well, now, the referee, Cheng Welly's got to step in here.
Yeah, I mean, the blue is the key ball here. It all happened so quickly. I mean, I know we didn't quite get to see the shot, but I can actually understand it, because he just looked at it and then decided to unleash hell, really.
Yeah, I mean, well, it could easily have been the end of the match. You're lucky not to leave anything on. And you can see the technology they have here. This certainly helps all of this.
Yeah, look, it's absolutely miles better, isn't it, than what we use here in the UK. And I don't know how much it will cost, but I do hear that cost is the reason we don't use it in the UK. I don't know anything about the numbers involved, but, you know, in a situation like this, no referee could be expected to know where all those balls were, memorise them. Peggy Lee's helping, and it's all there in front of you, isn't it? You know, what can't speak, can't lie. It's on a screen.
Well, it's just much better. That's just a fact, isn't it? And also the players can see it, so they're satisfied as well. Be interesting, is he going to do the same again here? Have another hit and hope. Peggy Lee there, sort of guiding it all in.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, because one thing he didn't want to do was knock the blue out. And I think he's going to try again. Big Yahoo.
Well, this time, unless this red obscures the other one, in terms of the potting angle. Well, look at that.
You've got to be absolutely kidding me. You cannot believe it. That would worry me if I was Chris Wakelin, not because of that shot, but, you know, what have I done to deserve all this, and is that going to continue in the match? Am I not meant to win?
Well, it's the old snooker gods thing, isn't it? You know, I haven't put the match away, and I was about to say, you know, there was the chance was there to win the match until that red did come into line and block the other one. Incredible.
I mean, of all the places on the table that red could have finished, it was travelling all around the table and has gone directly in line.
Yeah, suddenly dark forces at play. It must feel like in his own mind, never mind on the table.
Could get in behind the yellow here if he gets it round the angles, the correct sort of tempo. Smashing shot.
Yeah, played that one really well.
Well, this is a little bit different, isn't it, to the previous attempt? And he, to quite honestly, he's absolutely nowhere near this. So now is he going to keep going down this route? I don't think he'd want to play the sort of the big whack this time so much like he did before, because he will disturb pretty safe reds. I think the idea of the last one where he just hit it was because the reds were in play anyway and he might knock them safe. But these points are mounting. And he hasn't really looked like hitting it in 2 efforts. In fact, he's looked closer to going directly into the left corner pocket than hit a red. Well, I mean, it's quite a good effort that time, but even then, I mean, Chris Wakelin just seeing all these points clicking onto his score will be happy to sit there for as long as it takes.
Yeah, and it may make a difference, you know, later on. For example, that blue, if it doesn't move, Chris might not need it if all these points sort of mount up.
I suppose you could argue that Xiao Guodong would be saying it was all worth it to end up playing that shot, those points that he gave away. What it has done is completely changed the complexion of the frame, because with only 6 points in it, you know, the safe balls really apply to both players now, not only Wakelin, who at one point was quite a few behind. It's not a very nice shot to play at that pace, quite slowly against the nap, and he's given away a chance to middle here that he could have done without leaving this red on. Things have gone very quiet. Given a little chance back. Good player into the middle pockets, isn't he, Guodong? Getting right into this. He wanted the cue ball to stop because he wanted the perfect angle to pot the yellow and move the red just to the left of the black. And he didn't have it because the cue ball just ran on the previous shot too far.
3，观众请保持安静。
Well, Yang Welly, the referee, just rather stridently making his point to a member of the audience. This match, I mean, when the session sort of got underway, Wakelin won the first 2 frames very quickly, and you sort of thought the crowd might be shortchanged, but not a bit of it. It's now 5 to 11 in the evening here in Nanjing. No end in sight yet.
It's a nice shot because he's, as you can see, blocked off the right-hand red, and just a little sliver of the bottom red is available to Wakelin. It would have been a better shot if the right-hand red would have gone close to the middle. And then what would he have done? Everything is being tested to the maximum here. Not least his ability to handle the pressure. That'll do. That will do. Now, can he push both reds in line directly behind the blue and take the cue ball down past the black here? I think he can. Well, obviously, nothing much wrong with it. Just rolling into the back of these two reds now from the cushion. All week we've seen great scoring, but the game is never so easy as all that, is it, under pressure? Now it's turned into a different story, this match. Very nervy indeed. 31 minutes.
Foul. Xiao Guodong 4.
These are worrying times for Chris Wakelin, aren't they? There's no doubt about that. I mean, we've been saying it for a while, but he's not playing many shots that are anywhere near as good as what we've seen all week from him.
It's all about what it means, isn't it? You know, you hear about players, oh, he made 8 centuries in practice. Well, yeah, it's practice. This is a match. It's a big match for Chris Wakelin. It would be anyway a semi-final, but it's double bubble, isn't it? If he wins this match, he gets in the top 16 for the UK Championship, possibly the Masters, and still, of course, on Sunday would have the chance to win the tournament as well. And that must be playing its part in what we're seeing.
It's a very good pot. We've seen a lot of safety played, and every reason to believe a player will lose their fluency, but he still seems to have some. Playing to leave himself the guaranteed snooker here. 20 the lead. Wakelin will be snookered.
7.
And it looks a lot as if it could be going to a decider, depending on the outcome of the shot that follows this one. Because he was always going to be in the snooker.
Xiao Guodong 7.
He's shaking his head. I can't think what's wrong with this. He must be looking for the world, because to me that is deeply unpleasant, this position.
And also, let's not forget, I mean, a lot's happened, but how lucky he got that second hit and hope escape. It looked like he'd left a potential match-winning chance before the red came and obscured the other one.
That's made things a little bit more bearable for Wakelin. He's good contact there. And in fairness, these two seem to get on pretty well. A few smiles between them, and acknowledging this escape from the snooker, Guodong. The pressure of the match has not really changed anything between them.
Yeah, he's gone for separation, hasn't he? And he's got it. 20 points in it. Xiao in front, so the blue, I guess, where it is, helps him at the moment.
What a shot that is. I mean, that's such a great shot. to lay the snooker there. Goodness me, at that sort of distance, as Dave said, there was separation between the balls, but he still got the snooker. And once again, that could have worked out considerably worse.
Overcuts it, and you can see the real disappointment. Xiao getting good support from this crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I never thought it was going to go in, but we've seen a few drop into that pocket unexpectedly.
One.
Well, that is not bad at all. I mean, he wanted to be on the pink, really, but he... And that's not too bad. He's got the angle to get on the green to land right in behind the yellow.
Yeah, and the yellow would be all he would need. With 26 in front, 25 on. It's been a funny old frame, hasn't it? And for all the nuance and skill in snooker, sometimes when
Four.
you're struggling, just give it a whack and hope for the best. And he did that a couple of times, and second time, what a result he got. We'll never know, though, if Chris Wakelin could have won the match from there, because he is struggling as well, and it looks very much like it's coming down to a decider. What a frame it's going to be, if this is any evidence. Xiao Guodong has doggedly stuck to his task from 8-5 down.
Nine.
Yeah, I mean, both players in their careers really need a win like this, but for Wakelin, it's all stacking up what it could amount to. It's almost too many things that you could even mention that could hinge on whether he wins this match or not. Not least playing in the Champion of Champions, but everything else. It's frightening, really. I hope he's not thinking about it.
Well, he played a very good decider yesterday against John Higgins. That was an eventful match in its own right, of course. Made a 62 break to get that one. What a frame. And it could be a portent of things to come in the decider. So Xiao Guodong from 8-5 down has done what he had to do, and that's win 3 frames to take us the distance. What a match and what a finish in prospect. Xiao Guodong and Chris Wakelin level now at 8 each. Against John Higgins yesterday, he was 8-5 up. He has had a lot of chances. How many more will he get? And what sort of shape will he be in if they arrive? It's a huge frame, regardless of what's in the background, just to reach the final of this tournament. But remember, if Chris Wakelin does win, he'll be a top 16 seed for the UK Championship. That will, in all likelihood, open the door to the Masters. He still has the chance to win this tournament, get in the Champion of Champions, etc., etc., etc. So that's all in the background. Xiao Guodong has already ticked a few of those boxes himself. Right now, he wants to complete this comeback, and it would be a pretty remarkable one, because he was certainly second best when he was 8-5 down. Well, he's given this a lot of thought, and I think he's been slightly put off as well. Someone moving now, or something happening in his eye
上次板
line.
冇數啦，板冇數啦。
Earning. Oh, there we go. Well, someone trying to take their seat, I think, to watch the rest of the match. It's like in cricket when they're sort of moving in front of the sight screen. But this is a very crucial juncture, clearly, of this whole match now. It's been an all-day match, 2 sessions, and it's come down to this frame. Every moment now, every shot feels big.
Oh, that's a significant error. The cue ball has just run on away from the cushion far enough to not really entice Wakelin to play it down there. He's more interested in the red up the table now. This is very tense. I mean, it really is so much resting on all this for both players, but mostly Wakelin, especially how the lead has been disappearing in front of his very eyes. And that was not close, I'm afraid. He's left that red on. I think the way that he played that shot, I'm not too sure he is going to win this match, quite honestly.
Xiao Guodong first in then. What an extraordinary run he's been on. You know, he was sort of treading water a bit, wasn't he, in his career? 17 years a pro, a couple of finals here and there, some good results, but on the big occasion, I think people wondered if he could do it. Well, he proved that he could in Wuhan. He wasn't favourite against Si Jiahui in the final, and of course he'd beaten Kyron Wilson, Sean Murphy along the way. Can he do it again this weekend?
8.
That would be remarkable, wouldn't it, to win another one? Shades of Doug Mountjoy back in 88, 89, another era, another time. But that was also a remarkable story.
He's urging that cue ball across to the right even more, but it's not going to be the most simple next colour.
Well, it's not a lot of fun, this shot. Hampered all round. Raising that bridge hand for a big blue here. Every credit.
$14.
True to say, sometimes in a decider the pressure does transfer
15.
to the person who's been catching up, because of course it's their first chance to win. But it's also true to say in this match he has looked the cooler.
I agree with all that. He's actually played quite a poor shot there though, hasn't he? And I mean, the blue will go into this pocket. I mean, he's having a look, but it will clearly go. It may not look that enticing from the other side of the pocket. And he has missed a couple of shots using the rest. In fact, I can name 3 or 4 significant ones tonight that he has missed. he isn't very good with it, basically. And we're so used to saying players are brilliant with the rest now, and
15.
Guodong isn't that great with it. He's missed too many shots for that to be the case.
No, the best shot he played with it was turned around the wrong way, wasn't it? That spider that time. Anyway, that's gone. That was a good chance after the blue. You felt he would make a lot more than he ultimately did. I just couldn't predict what's going to unfold here, really.
It was a terrible shot, though, wasn't it, on the red from Guodong, because, you know, he's cutting a red into the yellow pocket, and it's so natural to get behind the blue, but he finished horribly. For no obvious reason other than the pressure that they're both under.
One.
Well, what has he got? What has he got here when he really has to dig as deep as he's probably ever had to dig? Because what a wonderful turning point in his career this could be if he can get this frame one, get him into the top 16 and all the things that go with that. But from 8-5 up, everything's going to be difficult now.
Yes, this is one of the biggest frames Chris Wakelin has ever played. But remember when he won the shootout, of course that is only one frame, got in the final, made a century. Despite all the sort of hoopla going on around him.
One thing I'll say about the shootout, and we look forward to it when it takes place on US Sport next month, but you haven't really got time to think about anything in the shootout, have you? You've got to get on with it so much that there's no time to dwell or think. It's been completely the opposite this afternoon and again this evening in this match.
Yeah, and I think because of the nature of it, you can forgive yourself anything. Whereas if he loses this match, it's going to be a horrible journey home, isn't it? It takes basically a sort of day to get back from Nanjing to the UK, and he will be so disappointed if it's not to be his day. But he's in here with some sort of chance in the decider.
$15.
So you've got to get the cue ball through the bunch here with heavy topspin. Oh, delightful. That's
60.
more in keeping with everything that he's played up until, well, about the last hour. Now this is a golden chance. This is where all the practice and the hours of hard work, working on your technique and everything like that, it really is about situations just like this. Got to back cue action and your temperament. It's a lovely chance. I have to say I'd be pleased for him if he could win this match, because it would be a tough one to get over if he didn't.
Well, he's a very dedicated player, you know, he's done everything right, all the hard work. He's worked on himself off the table as well. He felt after the sort of COVID era, he'd put on weight, he started running, he took up ballroom dancing.
31.
Took part in a Christmas strictly charity dancing competition, all of that, away from the table.
32.
But his life will change on the table if he can win this frame. And he's got himself into a great position to do exactly that.
$39. 40. $47.
Well, he doesn't mind here going up the table, I don't think. He's been good around the black spot during this break. But there's plenty of reasons why going up for lower value colours is okay. Blue and pink both pot.
48.
Just finished a little bit wrong here, but he's held more than he ever thought he could, I would say. So he missed a couple of these sort of shots. Not suggesting he'll miss this one, but he's going to take that extra little bit of effort, concentration to knock this in, stretching slightly. Very nice.
54.
Yeah, that was a big hurdle cleared, so pink putting 45 in front. Getting closer and closer. And as I said earlier, and it seems a long time ago now, I think if he got to the final, he'd be very dangerous there, because with the knowledge of being in the top 16,
60.
he'd be absolutely buzzing with confidence. Xiao Guodong hoping there will be a twist, and there's been plenty tonight. He's done well to come back from 8-5 down, and he's ready if the chance does come here.
$61.
He came round to have a look to see what goes to the right corner.
Well, the main thing, surely pot the pink, because he'd be 52 in front with 51 on.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's looking at where he can pot it from as far across the table and down as he can go to get to the bottom red. But as you say, I don't think he'll be going a lot further than the pink. He's just composing himself for what's to come. He knows that another red is probably going to clinch it, and it's the bottom red. He can just bring that cue ball down to the underside of the left middle here. Not sure what he was hoping for there, but it is a snooker.
Well, it's been the sort of evening. It was never quite going to be straightforward enough just to get over the line, but he's in a very strong position. What a great break that was, bearing in mind the trials and tribulations he's had. He's pushing the black to the cushion.
67.
So 67 from Chris Wakelin. He's on the cusp of a place in the final.
It's been a very entertaining match. I've enjoyed it a lot, and I mean, Xiao Guodong is one of the most improved players you'll see right now, and he may come unstuck here. He was in early and dropped out of position. He's not given up yet, but taking Xiao out of the equation, Chris Wakelin, I mean, he's done ever so well if he can get over the line, because he had a huge crisis of confidence.
A bit like yesterday, though, against Higgins. Calm descended when the chance came in the decider. Doesn't want the in-off here.
thrown offline, and you worry about the cue ball dropping into a pocket. And quite frankly, nothing would surprise me in this match. Oh, well, I think that could be it now, surely. I don't think he can get to it, but the plant looks pretty straightforward, and he will be disappointed, but Wakelin massively relieved when this goes in.
He's been put through it, hasn't he? He's contributed to that himself, but he's played a great decider. 2 for the price of 1. He knows he's done it now. We're going to be seeing Chris Wakelin in the final of the International Championship, and we're going to be seeing him at the Barbican in York because he's joined the top 16 in the world for the first time. What a moment. What a moment. He had to work so hard for it. You can understand the emotion pouring out of him, but he's done it, and he's going to play the Ding Junhui or Xiao Se for the title. So many doors can open for him now. Xiao Guodong gave it everything, didn't he, to try and turn it round. A dramatic night, a thoroughly entertaining match, and a career-changing moment for Chris Wakelin. He's the winner of this semi-final by 9 frames to 8.